Brazilian Grand Prix at Interlagos. It's known as a place where world champions are crowned and reputations are forged. But it's never known a day quite like this. The final shootout for the World Championship title. The Brazilian Grand Prix, the final round of the season, and a three-way shootout for the Formula One World Drivers' title. But leading the championship by 4 points, Britain's 22-year-old Lewis Hamilton, nearing the end of his extraordinary quest to become the first driver to win the World Championship title in his rookie season. We were set for true sporting drama, maybe true sporting history as well. Highlights of the Brazilian Grand Prix described by Martin Brundle and James Allen.
It's the decisive moment then. Felipe Massa on pole for the second year in a row here in Brazil. Hamilton his 12th front row start of the season. Raikkonen has never won here at Interlagos, Alonso rather dejected in 4th. Webber, it's his best of the year for Red Bull in 5th, with Heidfeld alongside him. Kubica and Trulli make up row 4. Row 5, David Coulthard again in the top 10 with Nico Rosberg. Rubens Barrichello, yet to score a point this season, has Fisichella for company. It's the two Toro Rossos punching above their weight on row 7. Row 8, Ralf Schumacher, his last outing for Toyota with Jenson Button. That's Kovalainen's worst qualifying since Montreal. Sato is 18th. Kazuki Nakajima, the new boy in the Williams, is 19th with Anthony Davidson alongside him. And at the back, the two spikers. Sutil had a problem in qualifying, but he's still faster than Yamamoto.
The Brazilian Grand Prix at Interlagos. That means between the lanes, you never see them from the cockpit. 4.3 kilometres, 2.7 miles, 71 hard laps around this anti-clockwise, highly undulating racetrack. The drivers love it. A key area is down into the Senna S, turns 1 and 2. A good overtaking opportunity. The championship may be won or lost into here. Let's take a look at it from Massa's car. 200 miles an hour, stay high, down 5 shifts, then fall down the hill. You can follow through these corners too and have another go at overtaking into turn 4 at the end of this straight.
Hello everybody, welcome to Sao Paulo, Brazil on a beautiful sunny day. The rest of the grid forming up, 22 cars, one of them of course in the pit lane, so 21 on the grid, 1 in the pit lane. Just forming up, coming out of the end of this corner. It's an amazingly big slope going down to the final corner here. You can see the television doesn't really show it. Okay, Massa is on what will be your left. Hamilton will be on the dirty side, nearest to the pit wall on the right-hand side. The grid is ready. You can see Massa on your left, Hamilton on the right. Watch out for the men going behind. No lights at the top. Here we go. Massa goes across. Hamilton covers and Raikkonen looks like he's gone around the outside of him. Mark Webber has had a wonderful start. Can he get past Fernando Alonso? Little bit of a moment there for Raikkonen. Alonso side by side with Lewis Hamilton, and Alonso pushes his way past. That was a hesitant start by Lewis Hamilton, and the net result is that he's got 2 Ferraris and Alonso in front of him. Alonso tries to block. Hamilton looks desperate here.
Oh, Lewis is trying to fight Alonso and doesn't need to do that. He's gone way too deep in turn 4. Now he's in trouble. He's out of sync in terms of the speed of the rest of the pack. Locked a wheel going into 4. That'll vibrate massively now until he finishes the Grand Prix. Till he makes his next pit stop. Having a fight there he really didn't need to have. But what happened was perfect start from the 2 Ferraris, and Raikkonen already getting the place he needed there. And then Lewis then, with frustration, trying to already get back on Alonso. He should have just followed him through in the early part. Easy to be wise after the event. Now he's got to take risks to pass this lot. Up the hill, down into turn 1. Another chance down into turn 4. Hamilton puts himself under massive pressure.
He's down in 8th place then as they come through to complete lap 1. Massa, Raikkonen, Alonso, Webber, the front 4. And it's Kubica, Heidfeld, Janocini, and Hamilton dives past him up into 7th place. Hamilton then picks the place as Jensen. Button there is attacking as well further back. Button in a battle with Takuma Sato. And here comes the race leader, Felipe Massa. Raikkonen though. Oh, there's collision there. That's Sakon Yamamoto in the spiker who's hit somebody at the back.
Now, will we have a safety car? There's a lot of debris on the racetrack. We'll keep an eye out for that. Will they neutralise the race using the safety car? And in the pits already, the one of the red Toro Rossos of Antonio Liuzzi then. And waved yellows. They're covering it under waved yellow. So we think Kovalainen's involved in an incident too. And here we go. This is Lewis then trying to go back down the outside of turn 4. And he will regret that enormously when he sees that back on the video. And he rejoins the track. There then is the Renault of... Oh, that is what happened. It was Fisichella who cut across the grass. Yamamoto didn't appear to see it all going off. And there is the debris on the track. The danger in those instances is particularly because of the debris. The carbon fibre slices these racing tyres apart when they're under so much load.
Well, for those of you who've not followed Lewis Hamilton's career, you've probably got your head in your hands back in the UK. He's in 7th place, and at the moment, as things stand, he's not on target to win the World Championship. But those of you who followed Hamilton closely will know that he is a supreme overtaker. We saw it in GP2 last year. We've seen it throughout his career, and I think he's going to have to do this the hard way. 69 laps to go to the finish. It's not all over yet. Hamilton's still in one piece, but he's got a lot of work to do. Massa leads, Raikkonen is second. The 2 Ferraris in a class of their own at the moment there. Over half a second faster than Alonso in 3rd. Weber 4th, Kubica 5th, 6th Heidfeld, and 7th Hamilton. Ted Kravitz is in the pits.
Just down at McLaren, Ron Dennis on the pit wall, just very quietly doing his nut. The mechanics have only just gone back into the pits because they thought there might be a safety car, as you say, and if they do, they would have brought Lewis Hamilton in and get him onto those super soft tyres, get them out of the way, but there isn't. The instruction to him will be now, just stay calm, Lewis. All you need is 5th place if Alonso does not win the race.
Thanks for that, Ted. Well, it was quite a heavy impact. I'm not quite sure why Yamamoto didn't see that situation arising. And when the front wing's an awful lot easier to fix. That's attached to the nose. It's about a dozen seconds. The rear wing is attached to the gearbox, and it's very difficult to change quickly. Debris on the track, but Lewis Hamilton just skirts around in turn 3, and he's in the slipstream of that BMW of Kubica. Will Kubica let him go? I don't think he's ready to let him go anytime soon. And all these people behind Lewis that have now passed him are probably, he just got caught out there. Kubica seemed very slow through the exit, and Heidfeld seemed slow through the exit, and it caught Lewis out.
Yeah, ran wide, and well, this is heart in the mouth stuff here for Lewis Hamilton. As Ted Kravitz said, though, as things stand, as the spiker retiring, there's Mika Häkkinen, the former 98 and 99 world champion there, watching this in the garage. He seems pretty cool, but Hamilton has to fight his way back up to 5th, because for absolute certain, if it stays as it is, Massa will let Raikkonen go past, and Hamilton then just has to get himself up into 5th place to win the World Championship. A lot of pit stops, a lot of racing, though, still to go here. But what is it about British sportsmen that make their public suffer so much? There's no such thing as a straightforward victory, is there? Hamilton losing his head then at the start a little bit. He has to regroup now mentally, Martin.
Yeah, he needs to keep it calm. He cannot afford to lose his front wing against any of these cars. In front of him, Heidfeld BMW, Kubica BMW. I think they'll be running further with the fuel that they've got, so he needs to clear them quite quickly. And then Mark Webber for Red Bull, who could be running a shorter strategy. And Hamilton all over the racetrack, just to let Heidfeld know he needs to come fast.
Here's another look at the start.
Yeah, and Hamilton got away fine, but Raikkonen even better. Hamilton maybe had to just lift out there. That was very well choreographed by the Ferraris. And Massa maintains position. Raikkonen slots in right on the end of the nose of Hamilton. It slows Hamilton. Alonso gets up the inside of turn 3 and almost touches. We may follow this all the way through. So there then is Lewis with his view well and truly blocked. Raikkonen with position down the outside. Almost expected Massa to let Raikkonen go through there. And that little hesitation in the middle of turn 2 put Alonso alongside us. And now at the end of this straight, we're not going to see it. There it is again. Lots of action going on behind there. Oh, and that's why Kovalainen had an early problem up against the back of, I think, the Toyota of Ralf Schumacher. And later on in the lap, the other Renault would be in trouble too.
Well, Raikkonen felt that Hamilton impeded him yesterday in qualifying. Didn't make too much of a fuss of it, but just let it be known that was the way he felt. And there was a little bit of payback there for that at the start from Raikkonen. It was definitely his hesitation in the middle of the corner that caused Hamilton to have to get off the throttle, lose momentum, and that allowed Alonso to get through. So it's all to play for here in Sao Paulo. Still 66 laps to go. It's going to be a long old run to the flag, this one. Welcome back to Interlagos, just outside Sao Paulo in Brazil. Hamilton Alonso tied on points, Raikkonen 108, but don't believe that for a second, because of course, here we go, Hamilton up the inside of Heidfeld. Has he made it stick? Yes, he has. A problem for Heidfeld, and Hamilton takes advantage.
Heidfeld went in too deep on the brakes, ran wide, and thankfully didn't slice back onto the racing line. That releases, importantly, Lewis Hamilton with some clear track in front of him. Now he needs to push. The problem is, we know his right front is flat spotted. And look at this, Kubica on Webber for 4th place.
Nice move down the inside of turn 1, the passing place of choice here at Interlagos. A very bold and aggressive move then by Robert Kubica, and he is definitely a factor today. He could even get involved with the McLaren's race, I think, as things unfold. So Mark Webber drops 1 place then down to 4th, Kubica up to 5th, and that means that Webber is now Hamilton's next target. Oh no! Is that Hamilton slowing? It is! The top of the screens! Lewis Hamilton's in trouble! What's happening? He's got problems. Is this the end of the World Championship dream for Lewis Hamilton? This is lap 9 of the Brazilian Grand Prix, and Lewis Hamilton seems to be in some sort of trouble. His engine was cutting out just a few seconds ago. He's got it going again, but a lot of people have passed him. He was in 6th place at the point when his engine started cutting out. It sounds okay now, but I'm just trying to tell exactly where he is in the order. He's been passed by Button, he's been passed by Nakajima Davidson. He is down outside the top 15. He's down, we believe, in 18th place. So it's gone from bad to worse for Lewis Hamilton. Some sort of engine cutout problem in the early stages of that lap. And, well, if it wasn't one thing, it's another for Hamilton. Massa leading, Raikkonen 2nd, Alonso 3rd. And as things stand, it's going to be Fernando Alonso who's going to win this World Championship if things don't change. It's a strange race, really, in many ways for Massa, Raikkonen and Alonso now. They're in suspended animation. All they can do is wait and see what Lewis Hamilton is going to do here this afternoon. It's all in his hands. That's a replay of him slowing down earlier on. And that's his father, who cannot believe the maelstrom that he's already been through this year emotionally. But he seems to keep it all under control. And Hamilton tried different settings, eventually got the engine started again.
Pretty sure that was a replay. Hamilton is still in the mid 1 minute 14s. Still makes him 3rd fastest man on the track. Now, if he's got to get up to 4th place, he is currently 5th place then. He is currently 30 seconds behind fifth place man Mark Webber with 60 laps to go. He can still do it. He can still do it.
Well, if he were to do it, it would be one of the greatest drives in Grand Prix racing history. There is a big enough prize at the end of it for Hamilton, though. He's got a point to prove. He knows it was his mistake early on that caused him to go off the track when he was fighting with Alonso, but it was certainly not his problem when the engine decided to cut out. But as I said before, sometimes when that problem happens, that problem can come back again later in the race. So very edgy, 59 laps to go here. Ted Kravitz, what's the mood like down in McLaren?
The mood is absolutely sombre, but the Alonso mechanics aren't looking too unhappy about it. But it does look like it's a gearbox problem, James. They were having a look at the gearbox in the Parc Fermé. So they opened up Lewis's gearbox and were just having a look. So there were concerns about the gearbox before the race even started. They were satisfied that it was okay, so they didn't need to change anything in Parc Fermé.
So this is a replay. Lewis Hamilton's already up to P16 at the moment. If the race stays as it is, he needs 7th. If Raikkonen takes the lead, he needs P5th. He can't find any gears. He gets on the radio. They obviously tell him to switch systems, and he's back up and running. Massa does a new fastest lap of the race. The Ferrari's sailing away at the front, but Hamilton passed Sutil on the previous lap. He's got a 4-second gap now to Ralf Schumacher, but he's lapping 2.5 seconds a lap faster. Next lap, he'll be on the tail of the Toyota of Schumacher. Look at this gaggle ahead of him. Looks like a video game, doesn't it? That's a nightmare to pass that lot. They're busy fighting each other. May not even see him coming, but he'll be mighty down this next straight. He'll be right on their tail at the beginning of the next straight. That is a lapped Renault in the middle there. I'm sure of it, isn't it? The Renault has been... he should just yield. He should just get out of the way and let these guys through. He's getting a blue flag, and he does not pull out of the way.
Well, he's going to have to get out of the way. This is an amazing gaggle of cars then. At the head of it is Nakajima in the Williams, with Sato, Davidson and Ralf Schumacher in the tail. There is Nakajima. In fact, he's caught up to the back of Jenson Button, so Jenson's involved in this as well. And Lewis can pick these guys off one after the other. Lewis Jenson, in fact, a second ahead of this gaggle, but nevertheless, Hamilton will catch it pretty soon.
Famous last words, but I really don't see anybody until he gets up to the, as Nakajima steams through there on Sato, runs wide, and is that Hamilton up the inside there of Ralf Schumacher? It is indeed, and Lewis Hamilton then and here we go, down into turn 4. So Lewis then has exactly the position he needs for P15. I really don't see anybody up until the BMWs wanting to get involved in the title fight with Lewis Hamilton.
Well, that's a very, very good point, Martin, as he sides past his fellow Englishman, Anthony Davidson. Mark Webber's out. Mark Webber from 5th place is out of this race, and the reliability of the Red Bull has once again been called into question. Poor old Mark, he was having his best run of the year. And, well, that's put paid to his race. Hyde fell then up into 5th place, should up to 6th, and that means Hamilton's gained another place without even having to pass a car.
And I think he's now on the back of Davidson too, or he may even be ahead of Davidson already. So he's split the Super Aguris. He will surely have another one of them at the end of this straight. He managed to navigate between the two Super Aguris as they were fighting each other, and now he'll have the speed down into turn 1 to take what I think will be 14th place. Here we go, 12th place, for goodness sake. Webber's out, of course,
yeah,
so that's 12th place for Lewis Hamilton.
There's a major lockup for Felipe Massa, who is leaning on it pretty hard at the front, trying to shake off his teammate Raikkonen.
Hamilton started that lap 16th and finished it 12th. They were busy squabbling with each other, as we saw, and he just imperiously made his way through the middle of it all. And he needs to be a little bit careful with this next one. Nakajima in his first ever Grand Prix. Let's hope there's not too much mist, red mist going on there. Well, here's Webber, look, pulling out of the Grand Prix. He's through. He's done it.
He sided past Nakajima, and that means that Hamilton is now up in 11th place. And here's another look at what we missed. Up the inside of Nakajima, very straightforward indeed, almost as if they were driving in different formulae.
Well, Nakajima let him through. Maybe he had a call from the pits. He's up to P11 then. His next victim is Jenson Button, 8 seconds in front of him. Button's lapping in the low 1:14s as well, so Button is not slow at all. Lewis 6.9 seconds exactly behind him, and he'll be 2 or 3 laps now before he has any more adventures.
So Massa leading, Raikkonen second, Alonso third. Alonso a long way behind the two Ferraris, but everyone in suspended animation. All eyes are on one car. It's silver. It's being driven by Lewis Hamilton. Robert Kubica pits from 4th place in the BMW. So he's the first man to come in and make a stop. He will rejoin behind Lewis Hamilton. No, he won't, in front of Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton 53 seconds behind the race leader now. Kubica was 22 behind. It's quite a short pit lane here. And into the pits comes the race leader, Felipe Massa. That releases Raikkonen. And this is where Raikkonen has to do the damage now. He has to put in some really good lap times to make sure that when he pits, he comes out in front. Massa in.
New fastest lap of the race for Raikkonen then as Massa pits. Raikkonen, of course, would know exactly when Massa was coming in the pits as his teammate.
The race leader, Felipe Massa, he's handed over the lead then to teammate Kimi Raikkonen, who we think can do a lap or two more than Massa. So it's a decisive moment really for Raikkonen. He needs to put in some quick laps, albeit, of course, that his tyres are pretty worn out now, and Massa will have the advantage of the new fresh tyres, even though he's got a bit of fuel in the car, slowing it down, the extra weight. And in fact, it looks like Ferrari are going to bring Raikkonen in and just a lap afterwards. So I don't think he's going to be able to do enough here to take the lead away from Massa when he rejoins from his stop. Fernando Alonso is still out there, but the big story here is Lewis Hamilton. Started on the front row of the grid. He is down in 11th place after a series of problems, an incident on the first lap with his own teammate that put him off the racetrack. All Lewis's fault, and then a problem with the engine cutting out. He's managed to get going again. He's scything through the field, and let's just hope his car lasts the distance, and then we can see what Hamilton can do. Remember, the World Championship is at stake here as Raikkonen pits from the lead. Where will Alonso be? So Alonso, I believe, has gone through. He has. So Raikkonen coming out. Felipe Massa, his teammate, has just gone past me into turn 1, and you'll be able to see him on your right of your screens. There you are. Slightly slow on the exit there from Kimi Raikkonen, a little bit scruffy on the way out of the pits.
A problem for Jenson Button. Here then are the McLaren team. This will be for Lewis Hamilton, surely. He was a bit lighter fueled than, no, it's Alonso coming in the pit lane. So that just underlines what a magnificent job Hamilton did in qualifying then. He had more fuel than Alonso. Hamilton will be in next lap, I suspect.
Yes, it does. There is Jenson Button retiring from this Grand Prix. That gives Lewis Hamilton another position. Hamilton up into 10th place. Race leader Alonso into the pits. That gives Massa back the lead of this race. Raikkonen behind him. Heidfeld is third at the moment. He's yet to make a stop. As we look at the scene down the pit lane, Toyota's Jarno Trulli pits from 7th place. Interesting to see how much further Hamilton can go. He could really benefit, Martin, from this sequence of pit stops now, because he's very much on the move. And a good stop by the McLaren guys could get him really back into contention. Oh no, it's okay. Pit lane speed limiter. I thought it was another cutout problem on the engine.
It's very slow though, it's very slow, surely.
It is slow, in he comes. No, I think it's just the pit lane speed limiter. Let's hope it is. Ted Kravitz.
But it's the soft tyres, James. So here we go. McLaren are pulling the dice out on this one. They've given Lewis a very short stint. They've given him the very soft, but very quick, but very fragile and delicate soft tyres. He's going to have to pass a load of people right now. It's a short stint, and then he's going to go onto the hard tyres at the end. Interesting stuff. Jenson Button, by the way, lost drive in that Honda.
I'm not sure I like the look of this. Hamilton's problems all year have come from tyre-related issues. He had a tyre failure in Turkey, but it's bad tyre choices in the Nürburgring on a drying track, and of course famously 2 weeks ago in Shanghai, where he did not come in for tyres when clearly he needed them, and the team kept him out. And well, they've put the softer tyres on his car. They've given him a very short middle stint, and we will see what he can make of it. But one thing's for sure, he's going to have a very quick car because it's quite light out there. But how long can he make those soft tyres last?
It looks to me like these soft tyres are really hurting him in the corners, and he's not clearing the traffic. He's not really close enough at the moment. Picking up the slipstream, it'll be a brave move from there, but a risky move. Very risky move, and he takes that risk.
Oh my good Lord! I can't believe he did that. That was from so far away. That was ridiculous. It's unheard of. It was majestic, and he's on his way through. It was Rubens Barrichello in a Honda, a man yet to score a point this season. It's not Rubens' fault, very much the car's. It's not the quickest car out there is the point I'm trying to make, but boy, was that an overtaking move.
It was a huge risk though, but good for Barrichello too. Quality driving there from Rubens not to. He gave him the width of a McLaren and a fraction more, and Lewis forced it really, didn't he? Came in, and Rubens, being a much older, wiser head, that a younger driver would have taken Lewis clean out of the Grand Prix there, unquestionably. But he's got to take those risks now. He's got almost nothing to lose now. If he doesn't get up the positions, then the championship is gone.
Oh my goodness me! Oh, the mechanic's been flattened by his driver, Kazuki Nakajima, making his first ever Formula One pit stop. I'm delighted to say he looks like he's okay, but he's going to need to get an ice pack on that. He hops out of the way, and that's, well, that's inexperience really. And there is Hamilton. Behind him is Toro Rosso of Vettel. In front of him, Ralf Schumacher, who he's already passed, of course, once in this race.
It's so difficult to work out exactly where this might shake out. Hamilton then up to P10. He's just about hanging on with those. He's getting that phase out of the way, and it was a good exit out of turn 3. And then that favoured middle line anyway. That's where Lewis has been driving the racetrack, and easily takes that position. Next up, Ralf Schumacher in the Toyota, and a good clean pass, and still made the turn-in point fine.
Massa leads on lap 34. Raikkonen is second, 3 seconds behind him. Robert Kubica in the BMW is 19 seconds behind the second Ferrari. Then in fourth is Alonso, fifth is Trulli, sixth is Heidfeld, seventh Rosberg, and eighth David Coulthard. And now Lewis Hamilton is up into ninth place because Ralf Schumacher has made his pit stop. And so Hamilton is on his way. He is a bit of a slow there on the front left of the Toyota, but Hamilton is 15 seconds behind Nick Heidfeld. He's the man who's really racing here this afternoon if he's going to win this World Championship. This is a very hectic race for Lewis Hamilton. He gambled on the softer tyre for a short stint. That means he's going back onto the harder tyre now. The performance of those softs wasn't too bad. It didn't drop off too much, but everyone else is going to have to use them at the end of the race. Let's see if this gamble worked for McLaren. In he comes.
I think, car's just leaning slightly there, difficult for the left front to go on, but I think he managed that phase extremely well with the soft tyres, and it'll show up later on when the others have to use them. I don't think they'll be too disappointed with that, but looks like they're expecting to come in again, doesn't it, from how little fuel they put in the car. But away then goes Hamilton. He's just got to keep passing cars. He's now effectively a lap adrift. And will he... Oh, we got a big crash then for Heikki Kovalainen. Suspect that's at the top of... on the exit of turn 3. Remember, he had a lot of contact earlier on the first lap of the Grand Prix. Could well have had suspension failure. They'll easily remove that car from there. Yeah, total suspension failure. Exit of turn 3, and a big impact.
Big blow up then on the pit straight. It's Rubens Barrichello. His car is being pushed into the garage. Ferrari then getting ready for one of their two drivers.
They've left it until Massa in. They've left it until later into the race to hope that the track rubbers in a bit and they don't have such a problem with blistering or graining. In other words, what kills a tyre is spinning and sliding. It's not going around the corners with the sheer speed of these things. When the tyre particularly spins as to when the surface of the rubber does things that it shouldn't.
Jubilation amongst the 70,000 Brazilian fans here who have come hoping to see a Felipe Massa victory. That Ferrari will, of course, have to put Raikkonen in front of Massa in the closing stages if the championship is at stake.
Raikkonen's just done the fastest middle sector of anybody in the entire Grand Prix. He's not pitting this time. Through he goes. We think they fueled Raikkonen a lot longer in the last stop. He should be able to go probably 3-4 laps longer than Massa and try to take this lead. That'll give him 3 or 4 laps less on those less suitable tyres too.
In comes from third place Fernando Alonso. Into the pit box rather gently. On go those super soft Bridgestone tyres. Ferrari ready for Kimi Raikkonen just in the background of your picture. And back out goes the world champion. So the crucial question now is, where is he relative to Felipe Massa? It's going to be very nip and tuck. Nice stop by Ferrari. There is Massa coming up the hill. This is going to decide the race. Massa across the start-finish line. Raikkonen is already turned left and is going down the hill. You'll see him any second. There he is. Is Raikkonen going to come out in front, or is it going to be Massa? Massa looks like he's got the momentum. A little bit of extra turn to take. Raikkonen is up to speed. He now launches it down the main straight. There is Massa, and that puts Raikkonen in the lead of the race and on his way, would you believe it, to the World Championship, unless Alonso and Hamilton can do something about this. Kimi Raikkonen is in the lead with 18 laps to go, separating him and his first World Championship victory. And I'm sorry to say that Hamilton is really not making enough progress at the moment. He's not catching Jarno Trulli for 7th place fast enough.
Hamilton is 2 seconds behind Jarno Trulli in the Toyota, but Trulli is only a quarter of a second per lap slower. So Hamilton's just gradually grinding his way towards the pack. 8th, he needs 5th. Surely McLaren will get Alonso. If Hamilton needs one more position and Ferrari are going to take the championship, Alonso will drop out of contention and give Hamilton that spot. So Hamilton needs to catch and pass 2 more drivers. One of them's 2 seconds in front of him, the other is 6 seconds in front of him. No, make that 2.5 now that Rosberg's just come out of the pit. So Hamilton can still do this. Hamilton can still win the World Championship, providing, of course, they push Alonso out of the way and give him another place.
Providing he doesn't have to make another pit stop. Ted Kravitz, what can you tell us?
They just can't believe that they're facing the prospects of neither driver winning the World Championship down here at McLaren, but that's a likely possibility. We do think Lewis has to stop again at the moment. The mechanics are just adjusting the tyre pressures in Lewis Hamilton's next set of tyres.
And then that puts him completely out of it. My can win the championship is very much on the assumption he had some fuel in the car when he came in for the final stop, because he stopped so short a time. Really bizarre then. They're out in the pit lane. Well, that's taken him completely out of contention. How bizarre that they didn't put more fuel in on that stop.
We're riding on board with the McLaren, and Kimi Raikkonen is looking very, very good indeed. The Iceman, the man who, as Steve Ryder said at the beginning of the show, says very little but does all his talking on the track, is on target, 15 laps out to become world champion for the first time. As Lewis Hamilton comes into the pit lane, this is going to drop him back behind David Coulthard, who is currently 20 seconds behind him in 9th place. It'll be nip and tuck with Nakajima and Ralf Schumacher when Hamilton comes out, and that will be for 10th and 11th places. And Hamilton sets off down the pit lane.
Yeah, it's over then, isn't it?
It's over. Coulthard goes through. So too does the Williams.
So Hamilton, the only man then to 3 stop this afternoon.
So, leading the World Championship since the 13th of May, the Spanish Grand Prix, Lewis Hamilton, all the way through to the final round. And, well, it went wrong for him in China when he slid into the gravel trap on the way into the pit lane. It's gone wrong for him here, off the start line, losing some places, and then, of course, that electrical glitch as well. He's lining up the car for a pass. Wow.
That speed, so that's David Coulthard dispatched then by the end of the lap, but he's got an awful lot of catching up to do in the remaining 13 laps. I'm wondering if McLaren needed to, if he had some kind of hydraulic leak or whatever, that problem that lost him 40 seconds, did McLaren need to keep replenishing something or changing something? Didn't see them doing any work on Hamilton's car, which may explain why they've only fueled it for certain distances, because that's definitely compromised him. I thought he maybe needed a splash and go right at the end, but I didn't expect him to come in with so many laps to go.
Yep, into the pits comes Robert Kubica from 3rd place. That will give 3rd place back to Fernando Alonso. And he rejoins. Kubica will come out. Where will he be? Hopefully somewhere around Nico Rosberg, just behind him probably. Hamilton sets the fastest lap of anybody in the race so far. He suddenly finds some pace, a 1:12.506. It's a little bit too late for him though. He's 20 seconds behind Jarno Trulli in 7th place. And there you can see confirmation of it. Fastest lap to Hamilton, a 10th faster than Raikkonen. But, well, you don't get any prizes for that. You only get prizes for being in the right place when the checkered flag comes out.
He's got to keep pushing, because it absolutely isn't completely over, of course. You've got Heidfeld and Rosberg just 0.4 of a second adrift. if they connect in any way, that'll be 2 places immediately for Lewis, for example. So he's now done a new fastest of anybody in the first sector too. He's just got to push every lap to the end of this Grand Prix. It's got to be a qualifying lap.
And what an amazing performance this is from Nico Rosberg in the Williams, racing the 2 BMWs at the front. Rosberg is in 5th place at the moment. This is surely one of his strongest ever drives, because really all season long the BMWs had a good performance margin over the Williams. It says a lot about Williams that they've managed to finish the season strong this way. It says a lot about Rosberg as well. Fantastic drive by him. As you say though, Martin, it could end in tears. Rosberg runs it up the inside. Absolutely stunning, but he gets a little bit wide, and that lets Kubica through. Kubica makes up 2 places as Heidfeld gets out of shape. Rosberg gets out of shape. Thank you very much, says Robert Kubica. I'll take that 4th place.
Well, that was the collision I was expecting, and they managed to avoid each other. Ayano truly is having a go there at Nick Heidfeld. So Kubica, that worked out perfectly for him. They somehow managed to avoid each other. The big move then by Rosberg. Heidfeld saw it coming, locked to brake. They both ran extremely wide, and thought Rosberg was going straight to the scene of the accident there. Tippy toes around the outside, and away goes Kubica around the pair of them. Raikkonen leads the Grand Prix.
Raikkonen does deserve to win a World Championship, but he deserves to win this one, given the season that Hamilton has had, Alonso has had, and he has had. Well, that's for you to decide at home. As I say, it's often not the guy on the 3-way title fight, just like Nigel Mansell back in 1986 in Adelaide. And I'm sure Nigel is watching this race at his home in Jersey with his boys, who are aspiring racers themselves, and he will be feeling, he'll know exactly how Lewis Hamilton is feeling right now. Came here, championship leader, but it looks as though the championship is going to go to somebody else.
Raikkonen then lap 65, Massa 2.7 seconds behind him. Alonso is 44 seconds behind.
Yep, there is Lewis Hamilton. It looks like he's just behind the 2 Ferraris, and unfortunately he's a lap behind the 2 Ferraris. Deceptive, but pushing very hard nevertheless in 7th place. Going to get 2 World Championship points for that one. If Alonso were to drop right through the field now, that would put Hamilton up into 6th place, but he still needs 1 more position. And, well, it doesn't look like it's going to come from anywhere, does it? 5 laps to go from the finish. Hamilton starting from the front row of the grid, didn't have a great getaway, lost places to both Raikkonen and Alonso at the start. Then he lost a few more when he tried to retake Alonso, but it was really the thing that's really harmed him here is the incident on lap 7, where his engine seemed to cut out, problem possibly with the hydraulics and the gearbox, and he lost 30-40 seconds at that, trying to find a program that would make the car go. Since then he's had pace at times, but clearly to lose that amount of time to your opposition when other drivers like Kubica, Rosberg and Heidfeld are having strong afternoons is too much to ask.
And look at this. This is a Rosberg on Kubica. We heard them say Kubica's going to lose some speed, and they're still at it. They told Rosberg, stay on Kubica, he's going to lose speed again on those softer tyres, and Rosberg's done exactly that. That is for 4th place.
Yep, still some fighting to be done then, and still, I suppose, from Hamilton's point of view, the possibility that those 2 might take each other out, and that would make him the world champion. How ironic that would be.
And look at this, Rosberg does get through then. So that's a replay clearly down into turn 1. Let's have another look at that, please. And Raikkonen on his way.
Never won in Brazil, Kimi Raikkonen. He has won 14 Grand Prix in various countries around the world, but Brazil is not one of them.
Hamilton just 9.6 seconds behind Heidfeld, 11 behind Kubica, nowhere near, unfortunately, where he needs to be.
Massa looks like he's going to try and set the fastest lap of the race on the last lap, as you say. Raikkonen, though, is at the bottom of the hill. It's the big climb up the hill now that will make him the world champion of 2007. He came here 3rd out of 3. He's going away in the lead. He is going to be world champion. Kimi Raikkonen wins. wins the Brazilian Grand Prix. His first victory here, the 15th of his career, and by no doubt the most important. Massa finishes in second place. Alonso is going to come in third, and the dream is over for Lewis Hamilton. Kimi Raikkonen is world champion of 2007. What an extraordinary weekend to end up an extraordinary season of Formula One. The dream dies then for Lewis Hamilton and McLaren. They come away empty-handed from this 2007 championship. But Ferrari still have the winning habit, and Kimi Raikkonen is the new world champion.
A race result then that is almost miraculous for Kimi Raikkonen. He beats his Ferrari teammate fair and square, and with Alonso third and Hamilton in seventh behind some outstanding drives, one from Nico Rosberg in particular. For Raikkonen, that makes the championship arithmetic absolutely right. The final championship table that Lewis Hamilton had led since May now sees Kimi Raikkonen, the world champion, by a single point from Hamilton and Alonso. A day of total agonising frustration for McLaren, especially for Lewis Hamilton, but he does take second place ahead of Alonso by virtue of having more second places during the course of the season. And the Constructors' Championship in the absence of McLaren, Ferrari's title from BMW, then Renault, and in the end Red Bull's reliability prevented them taking fourth off Williams. But let's hear from the new world champion.
Well, Kimi, many congratulations, world champion. You're not a man to use three words when one will do, so exactly how happy are you right now?
I'm very happy, really. I think so. There were not many people believing that we still can come back and win the championship. We believe on that. We have had a hard time, but we always work hard for those times and try to come back as strong as we could. And it worked out well for us. We said before the weekend that we only need to be 1 and 2 and then see what happens to the others. And that's what we did, and it turned out to be a great weekend for us.
You feel a little bit of emotion not to win your home Grand Prix, which is very important for me. I started in the front, I had the pace, I had everything to win the race today. But in the same way, I'm very happy to help the team, and the team who helped all my career to be where I am today.
There are always quick cars, quick drivers, lucky ones, unlucky ones, and you never know which one deserves the championship. But you know, I'm always thinking that the one that has more points at the end of the championship is because he did a better job than anybody. So in this time, congratulations to Kimi.
I haven't had time to actually analyse what's gone on, but for sure, my mistake at the beginning of the race to try and avoid Fernando, and lost a couple of positions, but I had the pace to gain him back. But then I was just braking into turn 4, and the car just slammed into neutral on its own, and we don't know what reason that is. I think, you know, everyone was struggling. Well, we all had extremely high temperatures with the engines, and perhaps it just decided to stop. But, you know, it was all against me, I guess, in the race. But, you know, this is it. This is racing, and we'll go into next year and try to do a better job. I was just told we have 22 weeks to the next race, till Melbourne. And in those 22 weeks, I'm going to come back fitter, more relaxed, more experienced, and I think we'll have a better car. So let's keep our heads high and look forward to next year.
And it's that kind of positive attitude, Mark, that underlines why Lewis Hamilton will recover from this very swiftly and be a significant force next season.
Yeah, I think he'll go to sleep tonight and really, think about what he could have done and what he should have done. But at the same time, he'll wake up tomorrow morning feeling a different guy and knowing that he's got a whole season in front of him, and one which I feel will come a world championship. Unfortunately, it didn't happen, and for many reasons, and none more so than the start of the race.
Yeah, it wasn't the start that decided things, but he certainly got it wrong, didn't he?
Well, he just didn't get quite where he wanted to be positioning-wise going into one, and unfortunately got crowded by both the Ferraris. Raikkonen got a great start, and he just got pinched there by Raikkonen getting sideways. That lost him some pace. Alonso slipped up the outside. That was really the end of it. But just watch here. He gets off the line cleanly. Massa does a very good move straight in front of him. Raikkonen just gets to the outside of Massa, gets a little bit squirrely. Lewis has to back off and correct himself, but in doing so just allows Alonso to slide underneath him. This is where he lost a lot of pace. But the biggest worry outside of that was where he tried to go around the outside of those guys, just didn't come off.
But in terms of the race and in terms of the championship, he could recover from that. He couldn't recover from the technical problem that hit him so hard a few laps later.
Unbelievable. It was almost like somebody just flicked a switch, and at the end of all of it, it seems like hydraulics let him down. He had no gear selection, had to go through a full recycle and reset the management system on the car to get the gears operational, and cost him some 30 seconds and did cost him a result, and that result I think could have been the World Championship. This was a very costly mistake, and just one of those kind of things, a small gremlin.
But what it did give us the chance to see was the kind of stunning overtaking ability and aggressive driving that we saw so much in GP2, and we saw in particular against Rubens Barrichello.
Well, that's what Lewis Hamilton is renowned for, his overtaking skills, and none more so than this move here. In fact, I was a little bit sort of in awe of this because he came from so far back. Watch him come underneath him here, look. Just locks up a wheel and chucks himself across the curbing. I think, you know, in some ways Barrichello was the experienced guy and let him go underneath him, but those kind of moves you only see now and again.
Alonso has been out of sorts all weekend, and when Kubica went past him, it really just underlined the defending world champion wasn't up for the battle today.
I think you're right. I don't think we saw any sparkle all weekend out of him, but Kubica was flying along in a BMW, great pace, goes underneath again at that turn one there, just locks up a wheel but makes the most of it, and Alonso just falls wide. But again, BMW very strong.
But the great thing for Formula One, and we must say it, is that Kimi Raikkonen is an outstanding world champion, and he won this Brazilian Grand Prix, he won this title as of right out there on the track today.
Yeah, I think what Ferrari did as a team, and with the work with Massa playing a supporting role, Massa, I think, could have easily won the race in many ways, but I think the Raikkonen situation worked correctly in the pit stop. He just made that fastest lap before he came in, and that gave him that little buffer, and it paid off when you see him exit the pits here, and Raikkonen just comes out in front of Massa, and that was the race win for him. Great World Championship with Kimi winning it, great for Ferrari, outstanding job all season long.
Yeah, and he's a thrilling talent, and this is a World Championship title that's long overdue.
Long overdue for sure. He's had a lot of gremlins, technical problems when he was at McLaren. Come to Ferrari, reliability's been consistent. The last half of the season, he's been the quickest guy on the track many times.
Well, it's 22 weeks now to the first race of next season. I know that Lewis Hamilton is already counting the day to that. We can get you there to the opening round in Australia via our ITV F1 competition.
As we celebrate the last race of this season, we're giving you the chance, courtesy of Hilton Racing, to win a fantastic trip for two to the first race of next season, the Australian Grand Prix on the 16th of March 2008. You'll have your flights down to Melbourne included, plus accommodation in an executive room at the 5-star Hilton on the Park. You'll also get great grandstand seats to watch all the action, an official merchandise bag, plus an exclusive tour of the McLaren Mercedes garage. So to be in with an opportunity of winning this great prize, just give the correct answer to this question from Mr. Hamilton.
For your chance to win a fantastic trip to next year's Australian Grand Prix, just answer this question. Which championship did I win in 2006? Was it A, Formula 1, B, GP2, or C, NASCAR? Good luck.
Here's the number to call: 0901 293 2020, or text F1 plus your answer of A, B or C to 63337. Calls cost £1 per entry from a BT landline. Calls from other networks and mobiles may be higher. Text will also cost £1 plus the standard network rate. You've got to be 18 or over to enter. Lines close 6 p.m. Tuesday the 6th of November. Entries received after this time will not count but may still be charged, and cable and satellite viewers can press the red button.
Good luck with that. We'll all be there. Mark Blundell and the rest of the ITV team will be there in Australia for the opening round of the 2008 season. But if there's one thing we've learned from Sao Paulo and also Paris this weekend, is that sport, it can thrill, it can inspire, but it can break your heart as well. Kimi Raikkonen is a great new world champion, but Lewis Hamilton, what a rookie, what a season.